Hi there, this is Snowcitytarot, and I'm here with a pick a card reading. Today's topic will be what is blocking your love life? What is blocking your success in love and dating and relationships? And I'll be having advice in each of these piles for how you can help that. So I have 4 options today. This will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you're interested in what these cards are, we have Uranus, we have Luna, Venus, and Sol, which is the sun. Luna is the moon. So take a moment, think about your situation with yourself, and pick an option. So for those of you that picked Uranus, this is your reading. So with the top cards here, this is just simply telling me what the blocks are. So from what it looks like is you may be coming out of a time when things were better. Maybe you didn't have these problems originally. Maybe you encountered a person that drastically changed how it was you viewed yourself, changed how you view relationships or other people. This person really could have degraded your self-esteem or put you in situations that were not healthy, not ideal, potentially unsafe, depending on your situation. But I do see that at one point things were fine. And I think that maybe at this stage you're sort of wondering if you'll ever find that again. Because with this 9 of Wands, it sort of shows somebody that is really suspicious of people, other people, suspicious of situations that are new now, somebody who's worried about what's around the corner because you experienced stuff. You've kind of lived through some things. And at this point, you're kind of just very cautious when it comes to extending a hand out to anybody. Maybe this might go beyond romantic relationships, and it could just be people in general. So it does look like you've been through the ringer in the past when it comes to relationships with other people. And I think that at the moment that is creating this block, because it's very hard to open up to other people if you can't or get other people to open up to you if you can't do the same. You can't reciprocate. It's a pretty big block, actually. It's like you're not an entire part of the picture. They're there, and you're kind of just functioning to the greatest of your capacity, but you can't actually give it your all or give it 100%. So people are going to see you as somebody who's non-committal. They might see you as somebody who is very suspicious of them. So they might feel that you don't trust them. In some cases, you might just get into stuff and then break it off. And, after that, people are just like, well, okay, I see there's a problem with me, I'm going to leave. So, you might not even be getting so far as to get someone who would want to give it a second chance, So those are some of the situations that I could see somebody with these traits coming in contact with. So, yeah, that's what your block is. It's just you don't trust people, and you don't trust specific types of people even, maybe. So I think in some cases, some of you may kind of just expect people to kind of work around that, or you're going to expect people to just kind of you may expect people to kind of just come along and then, it'll all work out. So it's like, I get the sense that you may not be entirely open to doing work on yourself, or there's a high potential that you just didn't know you could do work on yourself after something like that. Whatever it was that happened, you may just have thought, well, I'm damaged now, I guess, and then, maybe from there you just kind of thought that that's just going to be the way it is. You can't trust people anymore. But I don't think that you should hold on to that. Really, though, what I'm seeing with your advice cards has a lot to do with trusting your gut. So the third eye chakra card here, this is from the Chakra Insight Oracle. And if you're somebody who's looking to improve yourself, or just, improve how you go about life, this is a good one to get. There's a really good book that has a lot of detail, and it actually has sometimes has exercises depending on what card you pull on how to improve your situation. So it's not just a regular oracle deck, it's also something that might actually give you some guidance as well. So that's what I'm using here for this card here. So this is the third eye chakra. This is saying that as advice, they want you to tune into your own intuition. So a lot of people don't actually know how to do that. Some people are born with this intuitive knowing, and then some people have a harder time with it. But we all do have it. You have to have it. It's how you can tell when somebody is staring at you and you're not looking at them. It's how you can tell you're in a situation that's uncomfortable. And sometimes people confuse it with fear or anxiety, and it can be easily confused with fear or anxiety. And that's why a lot of us have to hone it. We have to do exercises with it. So this one for third eye chakra, if you want to, there are ways to exercise your intuition and trust your gut instinct and stuff like that. Some things are it's just day to day, just kind of like taking a moment and being very quiet. And if you have to make a decision, try to get yourself out of the situation and sort of just sit and think about it and be like, what exactly am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling it this way? What's going on? And you can do it with small decisions, like what you want to eat for dinner or something. What type of exercise you want to do. It's really about listening to yourself. There is something called intuitive eating. I don't know much detail on intuitive eating, but I think it's just kind of like sitting and thinking, what do I really need right now? And then those people are the types that are assuming that what it is that they're intuitively feeling is what they need at that moment. So that's one way. Another way is tarot. Great practice if you want to increase your intuition. A good one is, having somebody guess a celebrity and then pulling out your tarot deck and then trying to guess what celebrity it is based on the cards that you're pulling and what your intuition is saying. So those are some ideas on how you can increase your intuition. And then, of course, in day-to-day life, you could just, if you actually have a serious thing that's not an exercise to work it, you can kind of take a moment and say someone's making you make a decision. You kind of have to sit and think. Don't think about it, really. You just feel like if you took say you had two options, and then you go and you get some items, and this is how you do pick-a-cards, right? You have the two items, and you'll be like, okay, this is buying the red car, this is buying the blue car, and then you just put them in front of you and be like, which one do I want to pick? It's like that. So there's different ways you can exercise your intuition. And I'm sure you can find a lot of stuff online if you just look up exercises to increase your intuition. That will at least help you be able to judge people better, because it's possible that there was not a lot of clarity in your past relationships where you could judge people properly, or maybe people were just really convincing and your bullshit detector just wasn't strong enough. So this is kind of saying that for your advice, you should increase your bullshit detector. And you can do that by those types of exercises. We also had Come to the Edge, a never-ending story from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, this one here. These two are a little different. They are mostly saying, especially I think it's never-ending story, yeah. Never-ending story is saying do not get caught up in drama. So if other people are constantly interfering in your choice making or interfering in you're dating or relationships, and they're the ones, it's like you may have felt comfortable, but then these people are like, well, remember what happened last time? Remember last time you did that? You did this wrong. You did that wrong. You should be very fearful. You should be very careful. Like, if you have someone in your life that's doing that, you need to kind of push back from them. Don't talk to them about your dating relationships or things like that. Don't tell them about it. If they are going to be the ones that are going to shift your perspective on things, it will get in the way of your intuition. So just be aware of that, because you could be overcautious, and it could be because the people surrounding you are giving you bad feedback. The other piece of advice is come to the edge. This is literally saying the same thing as this one almost. This is come to the edge, so it's about taking the leap of faith. Trusting your gut instinct on a choice that you have to make and just going with it and just accepting whatever the outcome is. If it's a failure, it's a failure. Just as long as you don't put yourself in any kind of danger, it's perfectly safe to make a leap of faith. Your options are getting rejected or not getting rejected. And either way, they both have good outcomes. Even getting rejected, because it's like, yeah, your heart breaks, for a little while there. But then after that, you can kind of move on from this situation that wasn't going to work. And then you can go and get yourself into another, possibly into another better relationship. So that could be what that is saying there. But for the most part, there's a very strong, with these two cards here, there's just a very strong call for you to start testing your intuition, start testing your gut instinct, so you can kind of guide yourself and you're not quite flying in the dark, So, all right, that was your reading, Group 1. Please let me know if that resonates with you, if it helps you, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, for those of you that picked Luna, this is your reading. So this top row is your blockages, and this bottom row is your advice. So what is currently blocking your love life right now? Now this was interesting, and I had some trouble trying to nail down what exactly this blockage is, because it was like a little bit, it looks like an existing relationship or something. Like, I kind of wonder if you're not a single, maybe you do have somebody, but maybe you're separated and you're kind of wondering why that is happening. From what I see here is just there's like a lack of, get up and go. There's a lack of taking action or confidence in taking action, confidence in your abilities, because I have the Magician here in reversed. I have the Queen of Wands, who is that get up and go person, but I do have two significators here, which is weird because that's not the type of reading this was, but I really feel like this has to do with two people. So you may be asking specifically about why a situation isn't working out with a person, not necessarily why you aren't, why love isn't working out for you in general. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I'm not sure if that resonates, but that's kind of what I was getting. I mean, it's still, I feel like it still could apply to somebody who is a single, but it does look like there is a lack of, not a lack of motivation, but a lack of confidence in getting, being this person or getting what it is that you want to get out of your relationships. It kind of looks like you may have kind of left the party, when it comes to situations, and it's sort of like a block is yourself. It's like you've become rather stone-faced, and you may be difficult to read in some cases. You may have, this one was such a weird reading. I also got this vibe that there was, this is also what came up here, the Hermit reverse. So it's like isolation, and part of me thinks it's isolation due to health-related issues for some of you. Either, like, I don't know, it was really weird. This is just a weird reading, because I really couldn't pin it down. I really think it's because people are picking this one, and it's not, they're picking this one for something that is not part of the topic, like it's sort of weird. But it looks like somebody has retreated from a situation, and it's out of a need to be in isolation or to be away from everyone else. And obviously that's a blockage because you've isolated yourself. But and it's like, I got some vibes in regards to health-related issues. So maybe some of you have pulled away due to health-related issues, mental health, physical health, something like that. But I do see there could be a significant person in your life, male or female, that is somehow, it could be part of the blockage. This could be a memory of this person, or it could, again, be somebody that you're existing with currently or just separated from. And that's what this is. It's like the blockage is literally a separation, like a distance between you. And that's kind of what I was thinking, especially with the advice cards are sort of hinting at that as well with the serendipity card here. So as advice, serendipity is not really advising you much. It's just letting you know that things that are happening now are meant to happen, and people that you are meeting up with right now are meant to be met. They're meant to be in your path, in your life for one reason or another. They could be a permanent love partner. They could be somebody who's going to help you find that if you're single, or just somebody who's going to be of some kind of support. This could also be saying that this person, if you didn't know them very well, and if they left, it's saying that everything is sort of as it should be at the moment, and you kind of have to just trust. This is basically asking you to just believe in this situation that you're in. Believe that you'll find somebody. It's really asking you for faith, but it's not asking you to rely on faith alone, which is kind of what this is here, actually. This is somebody who has a lot of great ideas but doesn't actually take action. They think a whole lot about it, but they just don't do anything about it. In some cases, maybe some of you think that, if it's meant to be, it'll fall in my lap. But it doesn't always work that way. You do have to take action in your life, or else you'll just be passive. You'll just let life happen to you. And sometimes, unless you have some sort of chaotic karma, like life doesn't happen to you. You'll sit around for days and weeks and months and nothing will change, and you'll be bored, and you'll have wasted your time. So a lot of this could be talking about action, in taking action. And I kind of see it with this imagine card here. The imagine card is talking about not settling for fantasies, not just sitting around on your bum waiting for things to happen to you, because there's only so far that can take you. For instance, for some of you, you could be living in a relationship with, not living in a relationship, but living your relationships through pick-a-card readings, for example. I have noticed in other videos people who are doing pick-a-card readings for people that don't exist, or people they haven't met yet, or people that are celebrities and stuff like that. And it's fantasy land. You're living an experience, or you're trying to live an experience through someone else, and it's not going to bring you any happiness. It'll be entertaining, but it's not going to bring you any happiness. And if you've been alone for long enough, that could be enough for you, but it's not enough, and you got to have a higher standard for yourself. It's not enough. So when you have money here, this is talking about a couple things. So if you're with somebody, or this is involving someone else, money is talking about investing. Invest your time, invest your energy, invest your feelings towards this person. If this person is worth something, then you have to give to them. If they're separated from you, this could be telling you just spend the money to move and go see them, or spend the money to visit them. If this is about, someone that you have that's on your mind, that there's just, all these blockages regarding this, because this very clearly looks like two people, and then there's distance between them, and you, the querent, is isolated due to your own inaction. So this is saying, well, take the action, invest the time, Because it's like if you don't, they say, there's a saying, because this card is money, but there's a saying, you know, you got to spend money to make money, right? You have to invest to accumulate wealth. If you have $5 and nothing is going to happen to that $5 if you don't spend it or you don't save it and invest it and put it into other stuff. So that's what it's saying, is the inaction is just only going to breed more inaction, more dissatisfaction. So it's really telling you that you got to get out of this mind state where fantasy is good enough, because you're not really living your life, you know. So that is what I'm seeing. Group 2. I'm trying to think if I had anything else to add here. That's kind of what it's saying. So it's like if you have met somebody, just, you know, have faith that it'll work out, but don't sit around and have so much faith that nothing happens. I want to clarify that. Because, like, you can have faith, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to wait for stuff to happen to you. Okay, so thank you for watching Group 2. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. For those of you that picked Venus, this is your reading. So, Venus people, this is, this reading is very heavily based around a disempowered person is kind of what I'm seeing here. For this top row here, this top 3 tarot cards, this is explaining the blockages to me that you have. And I have the Moon, I have the Ace of Wands in reverse, and I have the Tower in reverse. I feel like you have a strong need to want to control things, in the sense that you put the brakes on stuff, like on all the things. The Moon card can talk about your fears, your psychology, your insecurities. And with these 2 cards here, I see with the Ace of Wands, it talks about false starts. So like an explanation of what a false start is like, you pack up your car, you're ready to go on vacation, you get in, and then you're like, away we go, and then you don't go anywhere. You're like, oh wait, I forgot to turn the stove off, and then, you know, maybe I should water my plants before I go, and then you get back out there and you're like, okay, and away we go, and you don't go anywhere, because then you're like, well, I don't want to come back to a messy house, so I guess I'm just gonna get out and make my bed, and you know. And that's kind of what a false start kind of is in this case. So you might like have moments where when you're like, okay, I got my hair done. It's, I dyed it. I've lost 5 pounds. Everything is check mark. Everything is great. Everything's the right time. I think I'm ready to go. You get in the car to go and meet someone on a date, and you have a great date. And then you're just like, no. This will end in disaster, is what it's saying. Is with the Tower reverse, it's like you're always out there trying to prevent a disaster so you don't take any risks. The Tower card is everyone's most feared card. It's disaster, it's catastrophe, it's embarrassment. It's like, oh, the worst of the worst will happen, and it's going to happen so unpredictably, and I'm not going to be able to handle it when it happens. And that's why it's reversed, because it's like you are trying to hang on to all of the unpredictable events and try to like secure everything so that everything works in order and you have complete control over the situation. And really, it's not working for you. It's blocking you. It's making you be overly cautious. It's making you probably fearful to take risks. It's like you may have been conditioned to feel this way because of something that happened in the past, but it could have been like one time a bad thing happened to you in the past, and it's like now you're like so afraid to relive it that you're like disempowered by it. You're like crippled by your own concern and your own fear of this not working out. So yeah, so the way I see it is you're probably going on dates and the person's nice enough, but you're like, no, I don't think so. Or somebody invites you out and you'll be like, yay, I got invited out. And then at the same time, you'll be like, I don't want to answer their texts. Oh my God, no, I can't, and then you kind of miss your opportunities that way. So what are your options for advice? We have the solar plexus chakra. We have the tribe in reverse. We have time for a nap. Time for a nap is here first and foremost because it's saying that if you're trying this and just it's not happening, you could be actively trying and then completely sabotaging yourself. This is saying just take a break. Give it a rest for now. There's no point in continuing to do this over and over again if it's not working out. So you have to perhaps try a different method to get the success that you want. So a different method being reclaiming personal power. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here is somebody who's not empowered, somebody who's not feeling confident, and that's basically what's holding you back. There's also a fear of being yourself. There's a fear of being yourself, and that's what this is saying. You don't want to compromise who you are, or downplay your values in order to fit into the greater whole or what you perceive the greater whole to be. A lot of people think that the world is made up of only a few different types of people and that they're just the weird ones, the odd ones out. But that's not the case. Everybody is their own kind of crazy. And every single person you meet will, as mundane and boring as they may seem, you might find out some of the weirdest stuff about them. So it's possible that you may be feeling like you have to fit into a certain mold in order to be accepted or acceptable to other people. And that's not the case. You can be as weird as you want. You can let your freak flag fly, as they say, because then in the end, you will actually find that more empowering. Only because you won't be compromising for who you are. Like that's who you are. You really cannot, you can't dial that back, or you shouldn't, because anything that you establish where you've dialed it back is going to be based on a falsehood. And that's what you need to know about that tribe reversed. So the question is well, how do you regain your personal power? And I know there's a lot of people who throw that around, but they don't actually tell you how to do that. They'll just be like, just regain your personal power. What does that mean? What is that? Well, personal power is it's a multitude of things. It's not that you just suddenly wake up and then you go to the gym and you're like, I'm empowered now, or you watch like a chick flick with empowered female characters and suddenly you're empowered now. No, there's a series of things, and I've actually gone out of my way to do some research on this because I actually I didn't know how you could actually do this. So it was a little educational for me too. So I actually got this one from Psychology Today, and it's how to regain your personal power. So even though it's regaining, you may not have had personal power to begin with, but you may have actually. Just maybe you just got it got turned down, or like maybe there was something that happened that made you lose it a long time ago and you weren't even aware that was the issue now. But that could be what it is. If not, this could be something that happened to you recently that took your personal power and now you have to get that back. So this is their solution for Psychology Today on how to regain your personal power. One is keep your eye on your goal and not on the problems. So ruminating on problems is going to put you in a victim mentality. And that seems to be a big one with this regaining personal power, is to try not to get yourself into a victim mentality, because it gets people to think that you need to, I think it might actually turn people away thinking that maybe they would have to be the person who's to solve all your problems. So try not to be so focused on all the problems and maybe be better focused on the solutions, So accept responsibility for your feelings. So if you're feeling a certain way, don't blame it on the other person or other people. You want to accept that you have a bad feeling, and first of all, don't feel bad about it. I know there's a positivity police out here in the spiritual community can make it seem like you don't want to have a negative thought ever in your life, but it's there for a reason. It's ingrained in us to have negative feelings for a reason, because discomfort inspires change. But if you don't make the desired change, the discomfort is just discomfort, and then nothing gets better. So that's why you want to accept responsibility for your feelings. So you don't want to be blaming it on situations and people, accept that they're yours. Be like, this is my feeling. This is my reaction to things. And, you know, be mindful about it. Let it pass. You know, if you just acknowledge and note it, like, I had this feeling. And, you know, just kind of take a deep breath and let it go. And that way you can kind of at least start working on reclaiming that responsibility for your feelings. So that's another one you could look up, is mindfulness and feelings. And that way you can kind of not let them get out of hand or make other people responsible for fixing them. So you're more empowered over that as well. So if you can control your feelings, that's pretty empowering, actually. Boundaries. You got to set boundaries. Don't let people just, you know, jerk you around and take you wherever they want to go, do whatever they want to do. You know, you got to set up your own boundaries and what you will do and what you won't do and what you'll accept and not accept. Don't just be a passenger of life. Don't just, you know, hitch rides with other people's life experiences. You got to make your own. Practice forgiveness was another one. That's another way to reclaim your personal power. And practicing forgiveness is empowering because you can choose when things are over by forgiving people. You can choose. It doesn't necessarily mean that if somebody wrongs you that you are saying that it's okay, but by forgiving them, you can tell them that you're not going to let that crap bog down your day. You're not going to let that stuff sit in your mind as a toxic, you know, brain tumor. There's no point in not forgiving people and not moving on, because in the end those people don't care. If they've wronged you and they've really, really wronged you, there's no sense in even really continuing on with that, because that person doesn't care. And really the only person that's suffering is you. So, but you also want to practice self-forgiveness too. So if I'm telling you all this stuff and you're feeling like attacked, don't feel attacked. Just be like, oh, okay, yeah, I've been doing this. Okay, all right. I'm sorry, I can forgive myself for these things. These make sense, though. You know, who would have told me this if I hadn't learned it this way? You know, there's ways to kind of forgive yourself in this way. Next up is don't dwell on the negative. Like I said, positivity police will make it seem like you should not dwell on, where you should not have negative feelings, but you shouldn't live in them. So just know that you're in control of your reality in this case. If you want to think about the things that people have done to you a million years ago, you can. Are they going to make you feel better? No, not really. So you could probably move on from that and not hang out in your negative thoughts. Not to say that negative thoughts are not to be acknowledged or appreciated. It's just moderation, and make sure that if the negative thoughts are there, they're there for a legitimate reason, and they're not just there because you are in a bad mood. So another one is avoid using language that victimizes yourself. And this one was sort of like, oh, I was forced to do this or that. Like, I was forced to work an extra 5 hours today at work. Like try not to, really you had the choice. Like, say if somebody actually forced you, then yeah, I guess that's it is what it is. But if it's like, if you had a choice and the choice was something you made begrudgingly, but you still made the choice, don't make it seem like it was out of your control. So you're kind of reclaiming your power by reclaiming your responsibility. So another one we have is make yourself worth the... Oh, wait, what is it? What did I just say? Make yourself... What did I write here? I don't know what this word is. It's Wouth. Wouth. I don't know what that word is. In any case, what I think I was trying to write here was saying that you should depend on you and no one else, basically. But that's not to say you shouldn't depend on other people when you need help. Know when to ask help and know when to just do it yourself. And don't be afraid to be unique, which was really interesting here. Don't be afraid to be unique, because that's kind of what the tribe is here for, saying that, you know, you're a unique person. Embrace that. Embrace your weirdness. Let the freak flag fly. I can't say that word. I can't say that phrase. In any case, though, don't be ashamed of yourself. You'll attract the most genuine people by being your most genuine self because, you know, for the obvious reasons. If you're really interested in weird foreign spiders or whatever, like say that's your thing, you know, you'll find other people that are interested in that, or you'll scare everyone else away, but who cares? You didn't want to hang out with them anyway. So that is your advice, group 3. Please like, comment, subscribe. I hope that helped you. I hope the Psychology Today article helped. I was deeply abridged. That was like the abridged version. So if you want to check out the real thing, you can actually Google that topic, and I'm sure you're going to get just a wealth of knowledge everywhere else. Like that was probably just skimming the top, but there's a lot of things you can do to empower yourself. So I encourage you to look up new things, and if you find something that you think is a great idea, share it in the comments section, because I'm sure other people would love to know. So for those of you that picked Soul, this is your reading. This is group 4. Excuse me. So what we have up here is the top cards here are the ones that are showing the blockage in your life. And this one looks like one that's been acquired through experience. I've got the Seven of Wands in reverse. I've got the 5 of Cups. I see the Lovers. I see the 6 of Cups. I see the 3, the Empress. So this looks like your blockage has a lot to do with something that happened in the past, and it looks like it might be born out of guilt somehow. Like this blockage is something that is based around guilt. I see the 7 of Wands showing me this is somebody who's backing off, backing down, giving up, kind of just saying, you know what, this is too much, I'm going to leave it. But this Cups here, the 5 of Cups, is saying that you're like regretting it. Like you made a decision to give up on something and you regret it. And that's kind of where you're at right now, is you're in this stage of regretting this decision perhaps that you may have made. And now it's like I feel like this is rather fresh. Like you might be another situation like one of the other ones I had where it's like you know, it's supposed to be for singles, but it's like you might be newly single and you're kind of asking like, why didn't this thing work out? That might be, or like what blocked this thing? And I could be seeing that here, but it does look like you had to make a choice perhaps regarding an old relationship. And I feel like you're kind of stuck in the past here. Perhaps if this was a long time ago, your blockage could be you are holding everyone up to these unrealistic expectations based on a past experience with this person. This is the Queen, or this is the Empress. So, you know, you may have lost somebody that was absolutely amazingly perfect to you in every single way, whether you left it willingly, because I do sense there's guilt in this. So it's like you might have left them willingly or something, or you might have done something that may have made this person choose to leave you, and that's kind of what I'm seeing here. And it's like you're trying to relive an experience with other people, trying to revive this old relationship or to find it again. And that's kind of what's going to block you, because you're going to be trying to connect like you did with this other person, and it's not acknowledging any new people's personalities. It's not acknowledging how those people feel. It's not acknowledging their interest or who they are as individuals. It's like you're just trying to go down memory lane using those people as a vehicle, you know. So that is kind of what I'm seeing as far as your blockage goes. A lot of regret, a lot of choices that were made, and a lot of past situations that you can't really move on from because they, you know, in your mind's eye, you're thinking of it in the absolute most perfect possible way. But you also have to remember when you're thinking about memories is you are going to hang on to the more ideal memories that you have of that person. So, 'cause that's just what the brain does. It gives you false memories, and you'll absolutely swear to God that it was that perfect. But in reality, there were probably more problems than you thought there were. So, we've got choice, we've got passion, and we've got blessed in the reverse. So, basically with choice, this talks about free will. This talks about courage, willpower, and change. Passion is here. It talks about desire, fun, fulfillment, and joy. And blessed in reverse is blessed in reverse. Basically, the theme I'm seeing here is giving yourself permission to live your life again. You got to move on from grief. You got to acknowledge that people have free will, including yourself. And maybe sometimes your free will is, guiding you in a direction that it wasn't a good idea. And that happened, and things happened, and stuff, people left, people got mad, and that is just what happened. You also have to acknowledge that other people have free will and they're unique individuals. So you have to understand that if somebody wants to leave, they want to leave. If, if you want to, this could be suggesting also you may not want to try to control your next partner or try to shape the situation to get round two with this one. So that's another possibility, is trying to get round two with this person through someone else. So that could be saying that people have free will, they have their own choices that they want to make, they have their own life, their own separate story, their own separate life that they want to live, and you kind of have to respect that. So with passion though, and this one here, there is this weirdness here showing that you kind of have this like vibe that you don't feel like you deserve anything after this, because maybe you were the one who was in the wrong. Maybe you caused this person a lot of heartache and you're very grief-stricken about it. And that's what we could be seeing here. And with these two cards, it does talk about giving yourself permission to live your life again. Because this one is about unearned and unexpected things. So you may have this sensation, this feeling that you do not deserve any of this. And really, other than that, there's really no other advice here other than just, giving yourself a break. Like, this was probably fine. And this person could have also just left because they just wanted to leave. And somehow, maybe you don't know why. Maybe you don't know what the problem was. And maybe you feel guilty about that for no reason, because, how can you really feel guilty about something that you're not entirely sure what you did? So if this person just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth and stopped talking to you, dating you, whatever, you might think that you did something wrong because they didn't explain it. But just because they didn't explain it doesn't mean that that's the case. So, you need to give yourself a break, is basically advice here. Is give yourself a break. Go and find someone else. Especially if this person just left and didn't tell you what was wrong. Don't try to get round to with that person. That person's got problems. They don't know how to express themselves. They'd rather play mind games with you than allow you to have some closure. So, don't try to seek out another one of these. This is over idealized. This is not what reality was, I'm sure. So that's your advice. It looks like you had a lot of, you might be more mature or experienced with relationships. You just need somebody to tell you to give yourself a break. And that's what I'm here to tell you to do. Stop being so hard on yourself. If you want to be happy with someone, go be happy with someone. You don't need me or that other person to give you permission. You can go and do that on your own. So that was your reading, group 4? Yeah, group 4. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if that resonates with you or if it helped at all. And I'll see you guys in the next reading. Bye now.